Good evening and welcome to yet another episode of the FPV Livestream. I'm your host, Paul Nurkala, aka Nurk, aka Boba Fett, aka who cares. And tonight we are building the Sigan drones Stretch X Pro Sight Quad. Let me get this thing out. Boom! Because I forgot to put a little logo of a company over here in the corner. And this is a stretched Connex ProSight capable quad that has like a little skirt all the way around it, which I've kind of had my eye on for a long time, but never actually pulled the trigger until I had the chance to meet or to hang out with the designer when we were staying with them at the same Airbnb out at XCCHD, and we kind of talked a little bit, and we ended up hooking me up with one of these. And for whatever reason, XCC was a long time ago, this, that, or the other travel excuse, I haven't yet to have been able to build it. So we are going to go ahead and jump right in and do that. But first, because I accidentally ran out of time today, I'm going to tear this thing down. So this was the Hercules. We built this on the live stream a little while ago. And it's a bit chunky, as you can see, and it's a little bit... I actually need to swap the frame anyway because I've kind of broken in the whole front half of it just from flight after flight, bashing it into stuff. So, turn your volume down. There shouldn't be any audio playing back in. Weird. Anyway, so I've got to take this whole thing apart and start again, and we're going to have some fun with it. What size frame? I believe... I think the X version is 190, so this has got to be like 210, 220, something like that. So it's a pretty serious stretch compared to some. So let's jump over here, and we'll get tearing down. So again, this is the Hercules, and we've got to just really quickly take all the parts off of it. It shouldn't take too long at all. In the meantime, what's going on with you guys? Does anybody have any questions about anything before we get going? We're literally going to take all of the parts that we have on this one and reuse them on the Sigan stretch. If anybody doesn't mind, sharing and subscribing and all of that fun stuff is super, super nice. You know, the only reason that we're able to kind of attract the attention of people to do free stuff and giveaways and more builds and all of that is good viewership. And so the more people that we have in here, the more people watching, the better luck we'll have finding future projects to work on. So if you wouldn't mind sharing this stream while we're live here, that would be top. Oh, miss. Okay. I'm just going to pull everything out. Tommy says, "Sup everybody, what's up Paul? What's up Tommy? Are you going to the Midwest Drone Battle in Iowa May 6th? I hadn't heard of it yet, but I will check the calendar and find out. As far as I know, May is available right now. I want to upgrade my Emax RS 2205 2300 kV. What is a good motor upgrade with them that is not too expansive? Or do you mean expensive? Because those are two very different things. I am assuming you mean expensive. And if you don't want too expensive, I would look at... What would I look at if I was in a budget mood? Or other hobbies, probably. Stretch frames tend to be weaker than the standard length arms. Not in my experience. I don't know about for others, but I have not had a problem with it. Hey Paul, nice to see you stream again. Yeah, so sorry about the unintentional hiatus. I've been traveling a ton, both for work and pleasure and drones, and most of those travels are starting either on Wednesday or Thursday. So I'm out of town during the time which I would normally be streaming. So, sorry about that. Okay, got that whole top assembly apart. Now we should be able to just grab the rest of this right out of here. It'd be great if we could reuse all of this without. Sorry. Would you ever fly that frame without the Pro Sight? Yes. And that's because he designed it so that you can actually swap between analog and digital with like the removal of 2 screws. It's really, really sweet. Which I was trying to talk about in the blog post, but I couldn't figure out how to say it in a condensed enough fashion, so I didn't bother. Yo, what up everyone? Howdy Paul, this is the FPV live stream. Yes, it is. Looking forward to meeting you in the DR. Are you actually going to be there? It sounded like you were not. Why didn't you come to Colorado to snowboard? That's a great question. The place that we did go to, our lodging is free. And lodging tends to be the most expensive part, I think, of travel and snowboarding and all of that stuff. So, hard to turn that down. I'll fix a balance lead and some XSR antennas while I watch. Just don't assume the clicking noise is grass hitting the props. Oh, so you assumed the clicking noise was grass, but it turned out it was your antennas, huh? That sucks. I think I might. Awesome, cool. Well, I'm looking forward to going. Should be a blast. Oh, one more. It's amazing how long it takes to build a quad, but then you can tear one down in like freaking 2 minutes. It actually drives me crazy that happens. Boom, done. Now we might need longer wires on here, so we'll have to see. Hand down the sparking balance lead wires. Oh, geez, that's not good. Yep, those are not going to be long enough. And these ESCs might be too wide, actually, which is fine. I've got other things that we can use, but I never would have assumed that. Yeah, these are too big. All right, well, we're not using these ESCs, I guess. Well, mostly I was trying to cannibalize the powertrain, but apparently we can't even use the ESCs that I wanted to, so that stinks. That's okay. Alright, we'll get those out of the way. You're cannibalizing a frame for the build. I'm not cannibalizing the frame, I'm cannibalizing the whole quad. Alright, this is my jar of ESCs. I'm going to go for some XM20s. Awesome shirt, dude. Thank you. Do you, let's see. Love the burly look of the frame. Thank you. Are you cannibalizing? Do you like or dislike Kiss? I like Kiss. I don't fly it primarily, but I like it. Alright, let's quick prep these guys. So these are all XM20s, running multi-shots, probably 16.4. RC record maker, remember me? Yes. Yo, glad you're back. Thank you. I think ProSight would be a home run if it failed over to analog when the digital signal is weak. That's interesting. Go. Okay, what's happening in this build? Eric, what about the ZMX blue tops to replace my Emax RS? I didn't think those were very great. They didn't work very well for me, in my experience. But you can do whatever you want. Okay. So, for this build, my understanding is that the PDB needs to be given a bit of an octopus first before you put it into the frame. Otherwise, it's really, really hard to reach the pads. So we're going to quick tin this up. It's a very simple PDB. I wonder what Francis usually uses for a BEC. How much fun is soldering ESCs? I like soldering. Anything. Finally caught another live stream. Nice. Microprocessor is fine. Latency needs to be decreased. There is no latency. Not that I can tell. What's the under-over of him letting magic smoke out? Man, I haven't even hardly started the build, and that's already people are already making fun of that. So this is a little 5-volt regulator that I'm going to use for the flight controller. Yeah. Okay. Alright, that should work. And then on the back side here, we can put a little XT60. Positive on this side. Dude, helping hands. Yeah, probably would have been smart. All right, I'm going to power it and check the voltage regulator. Chance at magic smoke. None. Sorry to disappoint. You're kind of off camera with what you are doing. Oh, sorry. Let me turn this a little better. Okay, so we should have 5 volt out here. Which we do. Lovely. Alright, so we're going to continue making our spaghetti monster. Or octopus, or whatever we want to call it. Needs to be reasonably long. I'll make sure I got long enough wires here. Oh, you know what? I got an idea. There we go. Lovely. How do I already have grass on this thing? Seriously, where did that come from? What would you mind saying what you're building right now? Yes, because it's all in the description. Like, there's a whole big, long blog article that talks about everything that's going on tonight. Since you put the regulator on the PDB, make sure you put the battery strap before putting the PDB to the main frame. That's annoying. Where do you normally put your regulator? So this is Sigan, who makes the frame that we're working on tonight. Or do you just run regulatorless stuff? Does anyone else find quad builds very therapeutic? Yes. Why fold back the wires back like that? You'll see in a sec. It will all become clear. I use FC with reg on top of the FC. Okay. Why do you solder the wires inward and then bend them outward? Because when we put this PDB in, the PDB is actually going to go kind of underneath the rest of the frame. And so I want the wires to go straight up. And so when I unbend them, it will all become perfect. You'll see, it'll be very obvious here in a second. Sorry, just bear with me. Alright, that's a lead for our flight controller. Which doesn't need to be that long. And then this guy. Oh, shoot. Just kidding. I want my flight controller to come off the 5-volt pads, not directly off the battery. That would have ended in tears. How do you like the Futaba radio versus the Taranis? I definitely strongly prefer my 18SZ over the Taranis. I like the Taranis, and I've used it from the beginning. I don't think I would necessarily recommend a 18SZ to everyone, but the hardware is definitely way better. Right. And then this cord is just a JST, and it's going to be used for the FPV system. Probably actually a little long. So now, what's got to happen here is that all of these wires have to come up through the frame like that, and that's why we bent them all inwards like everybody was asking. So if I could find it, there's a little 3D printed bit somewhere around here. Here it is. And this goes... Go this way? Uh-oh. Yeah, it goes like this. And then this is going to sit on top of it. Or below it. So... everything from the PDB is going to kind of go up like this. Wait, does the battery strap go front to back? Or, oh no, I see now. And so what Francis was saying is that we need to put the battery strap on before we do the rest of the build, because we've basically put this regulator in the way of being able to get it on very easily. Okay, then let's get some screws out here. Considering this frame, we'll see how it goes. Nice. Yeah, I've seen a few of them totally built, and they're just gorgeous and super durable looking and all that fun stuff. So I'm really pumped to actually get this put together. And I'll be ripping it. We got our indoor spot, and I've got a... Ah, shoot. I have the skirt on backwards. Who'd have thunk you could put a skirt on backwards? Because it's got to go over the XC60 like that. Francis, I think I'm going to have to get a an analog pod as well. I think I would really, really like to have both, so I could swap it back and forth like you were saying. So I'm looking at a schematic at the same time over here that I should have printed off. Actually, the build it comes with the schematic, but I accidentally misplaced mine already. Okay. So now the power distribution board is down underneath. We've got these screws popping all the way through from the bottom. Yo, homie, I found you. How hard is it to swap battery straps? So I think what Francis was saying was that the way that I did it makes it a little bit harder, because I put that power reg on the bottom on the PVB. But he was saying that if you don't do it that way and you instead put a flight controller with a regulator like a Lux or a KISS, then it's going to be a little bit easier. Hello from Canada. What you building? I'm building a drone. Sigan Bird says, I'll send you the analog pod kit. Awesome. If you could slip a JST female in there, that would probably be really helpful, actually. Okay. So, with that, now what I believe we can do are there's these extra little motor reinforcement thingy-mabobbers that go kind of underneath the arm here. And then you pop a screw up through the bottom, and then use this little standoff, aluminum standoff, to lock that in, and repeat all the way around. Hello from Portugal. Awesome, Portugal. That's so cool. What's time? It's got to be pretty late over there. Did you guys see all the DRL announcements and stuff? Are you worried about shorting the frame? No. guys. Do you have a suggestion for a 2S LiPo for the Hoverbot Nano? Maybe an XT30. The LiPo that I currently recommend for it is the... so we want to put it down this way. There's a battery from Glacier. So it's going to go like that eventually. And then we're going to have the ESCs under there. But we got to first wire them all up and whatnot. Yeah. No, what was I saying? How would this work with an FC PDB combo? So you're saying like an all-in-one? Yeah, Glacier has a 2-cell LiPo that they sell for what I believe is $5. So you can buy a lot of them for really cheap. You getting in on that DRL. I can neither confirm nor deny that I am a part of DRL. So you'll just have to watch the 2017 season and find out. So I'm just using a little bit of tape as a shielding between the ESCs and the frame. And then I'm going to just E-tape. Let's make sure I got enough wire length here. Ooh, that's tight. Let me screw one of these on, just so I know. $130. Not too bad. If I knew anything about DRL, I don't think I could tell you. Do you have any hyphy frames built up? I do not have any hyphy frames, actually. I think this side is positive. Fan of all-in-one PDB and ESC combos in general as a future trend, or do you prefer rocket, old school, component by component? It depends on the motors, really. I would never trust an all-in-one, or like a 4-in-1 ESC to keep up with like T-motor F60s. But if I was running like F40s or like low KV, like flippy floppy kinds of motors, I think that I would be okay with a 4-in-1. I've actually got a 4-in-1 on this thing. This is an Atmospheric Adventures frame called the Aeolus Pro. Actually, it's an old version of it. It's not got a camera in it right now, but other than that, it works. This has a 4-in-1 because I have these, and don't look at, I mean, they're blue caps, but I don't actually use them. And they're 2600s, but I only run them with really thin or like light angle props so that they don't overdo it for the ESC or the 4 ESCs, because I do not want to have to swap a 4-in-1. So yes and no. I'm okay with them, but not a huge fan. What you think of the new Emax motors? They look like power hogs. Well, I've not tried the Emax motors because I am a T-motor pilot, and I really like my F40 Pros 2600 kVs, but they're the same kind of idea with a slightly wider stator. Check out those premium tweezers. Yeah, they're pretty bad. If I put the stream speed past 1, will I travel into the future? Yes. Wait, KISS or BLHES? BLHE multi-shot, actually not LES. What type of ESC are you using? They're XM20s. Will you build a quad for me for a price? Here from the future to tell you that he blows up the quad. Oh, dang it! I was hoping that didn't happen this time. Beard to beard, how much? I charge $40 an hour. And builds usually take me, when I'm not rushing for the stream, 3 hours. So, $120. I'll build you whatever you want. In labor. But then, whatever parts and stuff, that's on you. Parts and shipping. If you bring it to Vegas, I'll give you bottle service for free at one of my clubs. 10 out of 10 would come to Vegas. I will fly out with it and hand deliver it. But you gotta buy my ticket too. Burned my soldering iron on a month ago. Still healing. I've burned myself with the soldering iron on a live stream, and I've actually been able to keep it so that nobody can notice, or nobody noticed that it happened. So if anybody wants to go try to figure out when I burned myself on the live stream, I will. I'll ship you something. What's up? What's up? Can I get a shout out and some subs? You can get a shout out. I don't. Whether or not people sub is not up to me. What are your thoughts about the F40 V2 and F40 Pro? I like both of them. I've got F40 V2s on one of my freestyle rigs. A lot of my recent freestyle videos have been with that rig. And then I really like the F40 Pros. They're easily my favorite motor. I'm going to try to get T-Motor to send me a bunch for the 2017 racing season as my primary racing motor. I like them that much. No soft mounting. Nope. This shouldn't need it. I'm confused about the T-Motor lineup. How many versions do they have? They have version 1, version 2, and Pro. Version 1 and 2 are basically the same thing, just improvements on the other. And the Pro version are a slightly different stator size. They're 2306 instead of 2206. Or 5 or whatever. I don't remember what size exactly the F40s are. And that gives them a little bit more torque and high RPMs at the same time, which is pretty cool. If you like power. So the F40 Pros are essentially different motors. They could have named them something totally else. They also have silver windings, I believe, which ounce for ounce are supposed to generate more power. Are those standoffs right next to the motors? Yes. What do you think of the Omnibus F3? I don't like Omnibus flight controllers. There is a soft mount kit available from Sigan Drones. I'm about to pick up F60 Pros, but I'm not sure if I should go with the F40 Pros. I've not tried the F60 Pros. I'm sure they're awesome. I like the F40 Pros because they're only 30 grams, but they generate like 1,600 grams of thrust with the right prop. And I really, really like the high KV versions of them with these new racecraft bi-blades. These things are nuts on high KV, and they're reasonably efficient. So that's the direction that I'm going for this season. Oh, jeez, just dropped my iron. High KV bi-blades. Probably F40 Pros. Probably Kratos. Definitely analog. Using TBS Unify. XY FPV. Wow, from Germany. How's it going? That's awesome. Glad you made it, Malta. You had a chance to use the RJX190 Chaos frame? No. Tyrannus QX7 or Turnigy Evolution? I'd probably say QX7. Are you going high KV? Yes. Can we get a 100 viewers? That's up to you guys. You have to like, subscribe, and share. I'm sure we can get to 100 if a couple people share. That would be amazing. I would love you guys forever. We'll do a giveaway when we get to 200. I used bi-blades on last hot import nights, and I mean, bi-blades are where it's at. There's nothing else compares. I'm sorry. I used bi-blades all last season on a slightly lower KV, like the F60s, these ones here. But I want to step that up a little bit and run lighter motors, lighter everything on 2600 kV with the Racecraft 5038 bi-blades. Those are where it's at. Yeah. I wish my motor wires were just a little bit longer. Should be alright. Did you fly those new bi-blades yet? Yes. I think he's asking if I actually had a chance to fly. And the answer to that is yes. And on 2600 kV F40 Pros, it's easily the fastest quad I've ever flown. Like, it's just nuts. What's the pitch on those buys? 50, 38. .8 pitch, yes. Preferred 4S batteries. Thunder Power, Adrenaline are spendy, but oh sweet from beginning to end. To be honest, I don't really have a battery that I really like right now, to be honest. I can't, everything just kind of seems okay. Honestly, I think I want to go back and pick up some more Turnigy Graphenes. Like, those have suited me the best, honestly, in the long term. But, I don't know. Alright, so now we need a flight controller on here. I'm going to go ahead and soft mount the bottom. What batteries do you run with the F40 buys? I decide if I should watch or build. Do both. That's what everybody does. Okay, Bulb, you should do a couple tiny whip videos. I don't have a tiny whip that really flies very well. Where'd my flight controller go? Seriously, how do you lose a flight controller? The desk isn't even that much of a mess right now. What? I put everything like right here. Saying that motor wire is too short is the solder touching the aluminum standoff. Yeah, probably a little bit. I wouldn't worry. I'm not going to worry about it. It's the only thing touching. Everything else is insulated. Plus, aluminum is non-conductive, right? Warrior in the world. Okay, I'm just going to use a fresh one. This is... No. How in the world did it disappear? I just tore that quad apart right in front of me, right? 5 minutes ago. Not even 5. Well, at least 5. Fall or something? Yep. Fell into the bag down here. MRM Mantis FC, should I buy another one? Been flying for 5 months. I'll move up to something newer. There's nothing wrong with the Mantis. That would be great. Pulse 95C, Graphene 1550, hands down battery. Yes, that is my favorite battery. They're very expensive. X-Nova T-Motors. Definitely T-Motor. Thought I had a couple more nylon things. I don't exclusively fly T-motor, but I definitely primarily fly them. At races, I definitely fly T-motor. You know what? I should have run my ESC wires under first. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. You tried the 210 stretched Reaper? No, I actually really want to, though. I've been seriously thinking about picking one up. Shoot, I can't remember which side is... I think it's this side. Let me double check, though. Yep. I bet the motors are going to come with hard rubber bases soon. That's very possible, honestly. Oh my gosh, that build is looking slammed already. Yes, it is. This one's 1. And then this one is 3. Okay. How much does your setup weigh, and what you use the T-Motors Pro 2600 kV and what battery? The setup that I use with the T-Motor 2600 kV weighs about 330, I think, with no no battery, and I usually use a one of the old school. Holy cow! I just lost another nut. Currently using an old school T-motor, or what is that company called? Tattoo. There we go. Tattoo 75Cs, which are great. But yeah, if I could run anything, it would be the Turnigy Graphene 95C. You don't run signal ground, Bardwell would not be happy. Yeah, well, Bardwell can... He tries to stream during the same time I do. So, therefore, his argument isn't valid. I think there is some merit to soft mounting. I think in some cases it definitely helps. I can see a couple people hating on it right here, but yeah, in general, I mean, I have had problems fixed by soft mounting. I definitely notice sometimes a improvement in flight characteristics. Not all the time, and not every build really can benefit from it. But you know what? If it helps, if it makes you fly better, who cares? If you feel better about it, who cares? That's good. The better you feel, the better you're gonna fly. Yowza! That's looking good. Look at that. Look at that quad. Look at that. Look at that fine young thing. Alright, now we need to do the front two ESCs. Got this wire for. Oh, you mean Tattoo 95C, not Eternity. I meant Tattoo 75C, like the older ones. The racing series or something like that. This is motor 2. Those are, I think, my favorite all time still. There's probably things that are better now, but I can't keep up with batteries, and I can't afford to just keep trying things. I want to have that one thing, you know. Whatever I trust, I trust. I'm like 50-50 on signal wires. Sometimes I use them, sometimes I don't. If I'm feeling particularly motivated, I'll put them. And if I'm having problems with the build, I'll put them. But for the most part, it's just like, meh. And the problem is that there's inconsistencies. Like sometimes everything works great, sometimes it doesn't. It's all just voodoo. Okay. Alright, I think I can see. I can set this thing on here now, which is the skirt. Oh my gosh, look at that. Oops. Man, that looks delicious. Where's the... It's not time for this yet, but I want to put it on here anyway. Oh, look at that. I'm going to put it all the way on. Screw it. This is very stretched. This is probably one of the more stretched I've ever seen, actually. I know, I need to do other stuff still, but gosh darn if I can't wait to see what this thing looks like. Look at this thing. It's so dang clean. Like, have you ever seen such a pretty thing? Like, look at this. Look at it. It just is. It does not give a crap. It's so pretty. Huh. Wow. Huh. Is the skirt TPU? Yes. Sigan, are you still here? What are the measurements on this? Did we ever crack 100? All right, we need a receiver. Hey, Paul. Hey. Measurement of what? Like, what's the size? Motor to motor, etc. Where do you fit your receiver? Or does it go in the top bit? So, am I missing some stand-ups? Must be hard to work on in the field. I mean, no, not really. It's four screws for the top plate. And the idea of having everything so well protected is that you don't have to work on it. I feel like I'm missing something, Francis. Happy Thursday, Paul. Thank you. What FC are you using? I use the Flip 32 F3. We use the FreeSky micro receivers. I have one. I have not yet put it in anything. Picture shows receiver behind camera. Okay, cool. Thank you. Wow, that's actually pretty snug. Yeah, I really do get the impression that I'm missing some things. Is the USB port on the FC accessible? Yes. Is the pod swappable? Yes. Whoop, shoot. Are you sponsored by Connex? No. I think you're missing the 430mm hex standoff. Yep, that sounds right. So I'll just drop these red ones in here from the Huncules. You should try the Hyperlight Evo HD. I really want to. I've been talking to Serge a little bit. So the production version of this will come with all of the parts you need, not just the ones that Francis decides to throw into the box. And Francis, how do you mount the camera? So I think I might be missing a 3D printed piece there too. So I have these little protectors but the only camera hole I've got is too small for the screws I have here. And it looks like you have a 3D printed bit in the picture, but I don't have a 3D printed bit here. If you go look at the website, what's your best advice for new racers? Practice and fly your own race. Okay. So I have no camera mount either. We'll send it with your analog pod. Awesome. Well, so I guess we might not get all the way through this. We could probably at least get it to hover test. Oh, I can't even mount the antennas without the hex bits either, because it'll just slide around on here. Come on, Francis! For now, you have a warp quad, yeah. A stretched warp quad. Well, we'll at least get this on here. I guess we're not going to hover test because I can't quite protect everything well enough to fly it. But I want to show you how ingenious this top plate thing is real quick. Francis, I think I'm missing a carbon fiber plate here, too. If there's a thing there that's supposed to be there. So if you send out some hex bits, as well as what I need to complete that, that'd be great. And then I'll do another stream and finish the build. I'll just hold off on this. And then when we get everything put together, we'll do another stream. I'll kind of show off all of the cool little features. You don't need that? Okay. Never mind. Wish FPV says yo. I say yo. What's up, yo? Francis, if there's any way that it could be here on Saturday, I want to fly this thing, but because we have an indoor session, but I don't know what the shipping on that would end up being. So don't worry about it. Okay, so now this top plate thing is freaking sweet. All you do, loosen this screw a little bit, loosen this screw a little bit. You see how there's little tabs right there, right here and here and here and here, and then there's on this plate there's tabs here and here and here and here. All this does is it scoots over the top of them. I think this might be because I have the wrong size standoffs. Yeah, I'm going to need those other standoffs before we can finish this. So that's what it would have looked like. You need to slide on side inwards. One side. Well, the stance is too wide. Like, it's not that it won't fit in, it's that it's too spread out. Oh, here we go. Maybe. Pro 7 antennas are impossible to get out. Like, I can't get the back one across all the way. Like, I wonder if I have a slightly too big one or something like that. Like, it's just bad QC. Come on! It's just funny because when I watched him do it, this was super easy. So there's got to be something wrong with the fact that I don't have the right parts here. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna give up before I break anything. Anyway, so there's half of a Sigan Stretch X. What's going to happen is that since we didn't quite get all the parts that we needed here to finish this build, Francis is going to send me the rest. And as soon as I have a chance, I'm going to go ahead and jump in and this one. Sorry. I'm going to go ahead and jump on and just finish it up real quick. And then we'll have a chance to kind of show you what's going on, show how it all works. We will also have the stretched version, or the analog version. I'll show you how we can kind of swap from analog to ProSite real easily. And it should be sweet. So when I get all that together, I'll either make a video or do a live stream or do a Facebook stream or something like that. We can all check it out together. But in the meantime, thank you very much for stopping by this episode of the FPV Livestream. I don't have anything more to do tonight then. So, yeah, so thanks very much for stopping by. If you are a first-time guest, I would love to have you come back. We do this we attempt to do this every Thursday at, I'm sorry, I'm spacey today. Every Thursday at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. If I don't announce, then I post everything on my Facebook for the FPV Livestream, which is facebook.com/the FPV Livestream, just like it sounds. I would love to have you guys like that so you can get updates about the FPV Livestream and when I'm canceling stuff, when I'm doing spontaneous giveaways, all that sort of thing. And then if you're a returning guest, same thing applies to you, and thanks for wasting more time with me. Appreciate it. And if you're a vendor and you want to have something featured here on the FPV Livestream, don't hesitate to reach out. So, thank you very much for stopping by this episode of the FPV Livestream. I have been your host, Paul Nurkala, aka Nurk, aka Boba Fett, and look forward to the finale of the Sigan Drones HD Quad sometime in the near future when we get all the parts in. So, yeah, go ahead and check it out. All the links are in the description below. Thank you so much to Sigan Drones for sponsoring this episode of the FPV Livestream. So, until next Thursday or whenever we next stream, thank you very much for stopping by, and stay flying.